Hello everyone. My name is Dr. Greg Moffett and I'm the developer of this course, and I wanted to give you an introduction to myself and what I had planned for you as I put this course together, and also to let you know a little bit about what this course hopefully will do for you. I am the Department Chair of Counseling and Human Services on the West Point campus. That includes sociology, psychology, criminal justice, and counseling. I'm a clinician. I've been working in the field for over 30 years, and I have been at Point University for over 30 years. So I've spent a lot of time in this field as a professor, working as a clinician, and I spent 2 years in the located youth ministry prior to coming to Point University. So I have that in my history as well. So I hope you find this helpful. This class is really interesting to me, and when I was asked to put it together, I was kind of excited about it actually, because I'm a counselor at heart, and almost everything we do involves interpersonal communication. So what you'll see in this course is, whether it's in the youth ministry or your marriage or relationships or your friendships or your work relationships, the stuff we're talking about in here applies in all of those. I practice my counseling skills every place I go, the gas station and the grocery store, as well as with my family. I've grown children, so I've raised them and tried to implement the stuff that I will be teaching you through this course in all that process. I've been married for over 30 years as well, and sometimes I implemented better than other times, I'm sure, but these things can lead to successful relationships. So that's a little bit about me and what we're doing. What I would like to also tell you a little bit about is the textbooks that you'll be reading. The primary text that you'll be studying is a secular textbook that I've used as a primary text in my courses in the classroom, in in-seat courses. I like the book a lot. Even though it's a secular book, I don't find anything in it that's necessarily challenging or offensive to my faith. The facts are what they are in terms of how interpersonal relationships work. The book is laid out in 3 divisions, basically, and we will begin looking at our own understanding of self. So if you don't understand yourself, you're going to have a hard time understanding other people, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Then we'll be looking at relationships with others, and also conflict resolution and how to overcome impasses, which we sometimes have in a variety of arenas. The 2 supplemental texts that you have are Christian textbooks, and even though they don't match up chapter for chapter with your primary text, what I do think that you'll find is they blend very nicely, even though we jump around, so you have to pay attention to the assignments in terms of chapter numbers. They match up very nicely and augment what we're doing so that it displays our distinctly Christian nature and gives us an opportunity to apply the stuff that we're learning in the primary text to a Christian community and Christian thinking. So I hope you find that fulfilling and interesting. It is imperative that as you do your reading, that you read them together and you think of them as one full unit, because if you just pick up one book and read it and think that's one reading, and pick up another book and read it and that's another reading, you don't try to integrate them, you're going to miss the whole point of why those 3 readings are assigned for each week. So that's on you. I understand that there will be some gaps, some things that you might find in your own personal life, some things that you might find in your career if you're working now, that we don't talk about, or that's just tangentially addressed in the book, and that will be where your opportunity to talk with your classmates comes through your forums and some of your assignments. So hopefully between all of the assignments, the forums, discussions with your faculty members, and the readings, we won't leave any stone unturned in terms of interpersonal relationships. This is an introductory course, of course. It's not graduate level, but it will touch on almost everything. What I also want you to know about what we're doing here is these things are distinctly Christian. We are a Christian university, and in all of our 80-some years, our focus has not been just on educating people and communicating information, but also ministering to people and providing something that they couldn't get at a state university or a community college. So that's my goal in the development of this course in terms of our distinctly Christian nature. And if that gets missed, I did something wrong. I'm certainly hoping that that won't be the case for you. Your assignments I thought about quite carefully, because what I don't want to do is give a lot of busy work, because nobody likes busy work or just trying to get things done, jump through hoops. It's boring for one thing, and it wastes your time and your money. you can do busy work in some other place that's of lesser quality education. So there are absolutely no projects that I did not think through for a sole goal at the end. So if you read the goals and objectives of this course, those are carefully thought out, and every assignment directly relates to one or more of those. So what you'll have is the opportunity to look at yourself first, as I mentioned a while ago. Understanding ourselves is a challenge. It's a lifelong process. I am in my 50s now, and I think I understand some things, but I know enough to know I don't know everything. We're complicated people. And certainly as a teenager or as a young adult, I had very little understanding of who I was and how my background and my culture and my upbringing had an effect on how I related with other people, my friends, my siblings, my workmates, and eventually my spouse and my own children. So we'll spend a lot of time looking at that at the very beginning. The assignments that you have will give you a little insight into who you are, and hopefully will give you an idea of some things that you haven't maybe thought about and how those things can affect how you interact with other people. It's imperative to know. We'll have a number of application projects where you'll get to practice things that we're doing, and that will also include peer evaluations. So you'll be looking at your own ability to communicate well with other people, to be a good listener, for example, but you'll also get to practice that with one of your classmates who will also be able to tell you whether or not you're where you think you are. Often, especially early in our careers as listeners or counselors, youth ministries, we think we're a little better than we are. Most of us in our day-to-day discussions are not very good listeners. While others are talking, we're thinking about what we're going to say, and we're thinking about what's important to us, and it's really unusual to find somebody who's just a naturally gifted listener. It's a skill that takes some practice. So that's what we'll be doing in that regard. You'll also have a semester project. Please pay close attention. The semester project is due at the very end, but if you wait until the last week to start it, it's a bit of a handful to try to do in just a few days. So it should be something that you can start thinking about now. So read the requirements for that semester project and make sure that that's on your radar and you are working toward that as you move through all of the assignments of the course. I know 7 weeks is pretty condensed and there's a lot of stuff to do each week, but you can do it at your own flexibility, your own hours, and so forth, and it should be fairly manageable. Please also know, and I say this in all the courses that I've developed for the online programs, we are distinctly a Christian university. Everything we do is about relationships and communicating the love of Jesus Christ so that our students can also then go out and do that in their careers, whatever they may be. For you, I know some of you are probably working in youth ministry right now. You're either volunteering in your local church in some area or you're on paid staff, either part-time or maybe even full-time. So hopefully our distinctive Christian nature of education will be something that you can implement immediately and find useful in the work that you do. So whether we're talking about just being a good listener to the teens in your church or to your elders or staff members or whatever it may be, or whether it may be resolving conflict. We all know that churches are not immune to conflict. So conflicts between the congregation and the leadership, conflicts within the staff from superiors to underlings, or across equal levels of the organizational structure. These conflicts are inevitable, and the better we are at listening and managing the source of those conflicts, the more successful we'll be in our careers and the longer our ministries will be. So that's the big picture of what I'm looking for in the development of this course, and I hope that's what you find by the time we get to the end. So I'll have a closing message for you in the 7th week as we sort of summarize what we did, and I'll talk a little bit about the final project at that time as well. But until then, I wish you the very best, and I hope you find this helpful and interesting as you begin reading in our first chapters. So blessings and good luck.